Okay, here's a quick look at the E-mini S&P for Thursday, Feb the 25th, 2010. And at E-mini Day Trader, of course, we always like to use the market profiles to give us a bit of a background of what we think the condition of the market is. These profiles here, each one is a lettered market profile and its corresponding volume profile. So every day we have two of these. So this is what occurred today, this is what occurred yesterday, and the one in between the two is what occurred in the Globex session or in the overnight session. And we had been mentioning that the 05 was a good barrier. We've been mentioning that for a while. And then yesterday it came up and it hit 550. And as you can see in the overnight session, only reached 350 and then started to sell off. And right at the end of the overnight session, it had actually come down and pierced below that area that we had mentioned was probably going to be a good test area of support right in there in that yellow area. And you can see it actually dipped below it, and then when the market opened, it did stay below it for a short period of time, but it just couldn't manage to stay below there, and then sort of had that slingshot effect and had a good rally in the second half of the day. So 05 is still the next target, likely to get hit that either overnight or tomorrow, and then the next target up above that is 1109. So right now we're looking at support probably in around the 797 area, and we also like to use these individual one-day regular trading hour profiles only, and this is the last 6 or 7 trading days. So here's our software here for today, and now we did have a short trade early in the day. It turned out it did reach our first objective, but we were not filled on it, so we actually had a 3-tick loss on that trade. Our next trade was, we were hovering in this area here, and I'll just mark it on. It was approximately this area of resistance, and you can see it got up into it initially, tested again, so we actually ended up getting short a couple of times in here. And so this was the first trade here. The second trade, we got out at the end of 10 minutes for a 1-tick loss. We tried it one last time here for a third trade. Unfortunately got stopped out on that. So we ended up with another trade here. This was number 4. Now this one did reach our first objective, so we ended up with a break even on that trade. But we did have a really nice trade here, number 5, that came along. I'm sorry, number 5 was actually in here. This was number 6. Number 5 was in here. Now it only hit our first objective, so we got stopped out at break even on that. So unfortunately both number 4 and number 5 were break even though we were nicely on the right side of the market. It just took long for it to unfold. But the last trade of the day was a great trade. We got long on this dip in here, and it shot up very nicely for us, and about 4.5 points, and easily reaching our first 2 objectives, and 2 3/4 point gain on the final partial there. So it was kind of a rough day of trading in that. Initially we were actually trying to sell the market, and we just weren't getting anywhere with it, and then it finally burst higher, and one of the long trades was great, but the last 3 trades of the day were all long trades, and the first 2 were break even, because even though the market hit our first objective, it then pulled back and stopped us out, and then moved higher. So a little bit frustrating in that sense, even though we were certainly on the right side of the market. And so those are the areas, those are our trades, the areas that we're looking at. Down as low is in the 94 area, probably in the 97 area as support, so could be in the 94 or 97 as support, and then of course we're looking at 5 and 9 as resistance areas on the immediate basis. But market certainly does look like it wants to head higher, so first test is the 5 and then the 9. So that's a quick look at the market for Thursday. Thanks for taking the time to view the video, and we'll see you again tomorrow.